Give me a minute. I want to talk about the reality of everyday life in Ukraine. Everyday life in Ukraine is both a victory and a tragedy. Every day. Every day that Ukraine stays in this fight against a much bigger enemy who has every advantage in this fight. And yet Ukraine, with its 40 million, 25% of whom are displaced refugees inside or outside the country, continues to hold this menace at bay despite everything, despite the ammunition shortages caused by the Republican Party in the United States. I want to stress that and remind everybody of that. Despite the manpower shortages, because they're a country of 40 million, they're a country of 140 million. Despite the equipment shortages, because they basically didn't have an army at the start of this war in 2014. Basically didn't. Had to build it up during wartime. Everything is against them. And every day that they stay in this fight, every day that they keep this menace at bay is a victory. And you wake up and you look at the paper and, oh, look, Moscow is burning today. Oh, another oil refinery got hit this morning. Oh, another successful drone attack. And then the breaking news comes that a food convoy of trucks in Sumy was hit, and a 24-year-old kid, truck driver, was unalived. Then you get the word of a massive missile attack on Kharkiv that targeted civilian apartment buildings. They're hitting apartment buildings in Kharkiv again. And the casualties right now, 5 unalived, 47 injured, but all those numbers are expected to grow. Everything I just described is just today. Every single day in this country is an incredible victory and an awful tragedy. And the real tragedy comes when you realize that the bombs that hit Sumy today, the bombs that hit Kharkiv today, the bombs that tonight hit a residential rehabilitation center for traumatized children, like that was the target tonight. My understanding is at least 2 of the children there are passed on. The really stunning thing comes when you realize that the air bases that these planes took off from to murder those children are within ATACMS range, and the Ukrainians can't hit them because some politicians in DC have said they can't. Micromanaging this war is not good policy for the United States. We get Russia wrong every fucking time. It's time to trust the Ukrainians and take those gloves off. And I pray to God that the administration meeting with Yermak and Umarov this weekend give them the okay to hit the targets on their list. It offends my sensibilities that they have to ask. But if they've gone to the trouble of flying there and asking nicely, the very least we could fucking do is say yes. That's what everyday life in Ukraine is like. It's every day is a victory and every day is a tragedy. And these folks have to live with it all. Let's give them a hand, huh? Let's give them a hand.